Force fam, Star Wars Dad back for another video. Today we're going to be doing a quick look at some of the first results from Legends of the Force, just to kind of get an idea of where things are starting at least. Before we get into today's video, make sure to check out my Patreon if you are interested in more exclusive content from me. And make sure to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel to grow. Make sure to sign up for the 5,500 subscriber giveaway. And for today's video, in the comments, let me know what deck you think is going to be the biggest surprise going into Legends of the Force, and I will be giving away a Yaddle Prestige. Yaddle, it's a non-foil, but still a good card. Yaddle's a sweet card from the new set, to one lucky winner in the comments. But so to get into today's video, I just kind of wanted to look real quickly at a couple of tournaments that we saw. And you can see that Han Blue Force is the winner in both of those, which big surprise there. I think a lot of people expected that, including myself. So this first tournament was Take the Initiative. I think it was 50 people were playing online. And then you can see in the top 4 of the results were 2 Han, 2 Blues Force lists. A Krennic, which I really like to see, and I'm sure it has Vader. And Krennic becomes more relevant with Vader. And then a Quinlan Tarkentown. So I think Krennic was a little bit of a surprise in this one. But let's kind of get into here's some of the results. This is a little different than the results they just showed. But here's the number 1 list. Let's talk about this list first, because I really like this list. This is kind of very similar to my list. I mean, there's like a couple subtle changes, I would say. But the biggest thing that stands out to me is Force Throw, Jedi in Hiding, and Pillage in the main board, because that is just can be absolutely destructive. And then he's playing 3 of the Ogdu Bogdu and 2 Phantom. I think I played 2 too, which is just such a great turn 1 play in this deck. And if you don't, if you don't have a way to deal with it, it's just gonna run you over. A couple red 5s. Playing mostly Force units in here. He's playing 2 Grogu, 2 Warrior. I think I play 3. And then he's playing a split of 1 Fel, 3 Shatterpoint. I think I do 2-2. And then he's playing a couple Poe instead of Anakin for me. And then he's playing 3 of the Rebellious Hammerhead, which I am not playing in my list. And then he's playing Chewbacca and Krayt Dragon. I think I was playing Bendu in my list, but I like the Rebellious Hammerhead. I think it might be worth considering, just to have another strong space unit. And then the sideboard, he has like Bombing Run, I would imagine, for Vader, or just decks that go wide. Like Kylo is probably going to be a deck that gives this deck a hard time. From people I've talked to in the community so far, as Kylo is one of the matchups that can beat this deck pretty consistently. I think it's like 75% of the time with a good Kylo player. With Kylo Red, I think Kylo Yellow probably still has a good matchup against this deck too. Just something that runs it over too fast for it to recover. But I mean, this is what you're going to see early on. I think this is kind of how metas go, right? Like everyone expects Han 2 Blue to be really good, so that's the first deck that's just kind of going to dominate. And then people have to figure out answers for it, and that's normal. And hopefully they won't just ban cards, but we'll find out. I would imagine Force Throw. It really depends on how much we see of Force Throw at Galactic Championships, but I'm guessing it's going to be at least 75% of the meta, and I would imagine at least 4 to 5 of the top 8 are going to have Force Throw in their deck. Again, just looking at this list, like the 3 Force Throws, the 3 Jedi in Hiding, the 2 Pillage, that is just so much hand disruption. And it's just too good in these colors to not play those 3 cards together. Like there's so many games where you have a Jedi in Hiding out on turn 2. Turn 3, you go either Force Throw or Pillage. And then when you attack him with a Jedi in Hiding so that it dies, and then you trigger it again, and you're discarding 3 cards from their hand. On 5 resources, you could do Pillage and Force Throw plus Jedi in Hiding, and discard 4 cards from their hand. That is just good game. Like that's so hard to recover from, especially in a deck like this where you're cheating things out and you already have that advantage of just dropping bombs before your opponent can. And if you obliterate their hand on top of that, it's just like that's so much momentum in favor of Han 2 Blue. But yeah, this is a great list. Clearly, they have played this deck a lot and have put a lot of testing into it. But the Phantom, the Ogdu Bogdu, just those turn 1 5 powered units are very, very strong as well. No Anakin, but I mean, I guess I could see why Poe is the choice there instead of Anakin, because Poe can defeat upgrades, can play it a turn earlier. Sometimes Anakin, even in this deck, doesn't trigger because you have some solid cards like the Open Fires and Force Throws and Turrets and Ogdu Bogdu and things like that. So or even Jedi in Hiding. So you sometimes don't trigger Anakin, so it makes sense to not play Anakin. I could see the argument for not playing it at all. But yeah, great looking list overall. Here's the Quinlan list. You could see got a couple Quinlan, the constructed lightsaber at 3 of, which I totally agree with, to give you some restore effects. And then otherwise, it's not a lot of changes. Adi Gallia is another card they put in, which absolutely makes sense in this deck. Hidden Sharpshooter for ambush is cool on the sideboard. And then the Depa Balaba is a 1 of. I like it as a 1 of in a lot of these decks because it is kind of expensive at 6 cost. Good looking list. Here's that Krennic list. 3 Vader. I'm trying to think if there's any other cards in here besides that. That's like the only change. The Lumpike. Okay, so 3 Lumpike and 3 Vader, and then all of a sudden Krennic's relevant. Yeah, I mean, Vader's going to make so many decks relevant. And I mean, that's why he named it. Krennic can finally be as good as Kira. I don't know if I agree with that statement. We'd have to see evidence to support that statement, but I get what he's saying. Like, Krennic's going to be better. And if you are tired of playing Kira, and if you're, a villainy blue ECL player, you can play other things. You don't have to just play Kira, and it's still going to be good. I've always liked Krennic. I just thought the leader was a little weak sauce. Honestly, one of the cards that I would probably play in Krennic is Craving Power, because making Krennic a 4/9 with Restore 2 is pretty strong. And then it's going to get damaged a little bit. So, I mean, I don't know. That would be a card that I would strongly consider. He's only playing 1 Gideon. And I mean, I guess your main play is to ECL Vader, but Gideon is so disgusting in here. Like, I always play 3 Gideon in Krennic. But otherwise, good looking list. Clearly, he did well. He was in 3rd place, I think, out of 50. So, and then here's Uncle Rico. That's funny. His list is a little different. So he's not playing the Pillage in the main. It's in the side. He is playing 3 Anakin. So a little less focus on the discard. 2 Rebellious Hammerhead, 1 Mace, 2 Warrior. Very similar list. He's not playing Ogdu Bogdu or Phantom, though. That's one of the biggest changes. But he is playing more removal with the Fell the Dragon, Shatterpoint, and the Takedown, which I like. And Anakin has a piece of removal as well. I think he finished, 2nd, I think is what it said. And then he's got the bombing runs again. The Sandolo for ramp. 3rd Crate Dragon. But yeah, I mean, Hantu Blue is awesome, man. You got to figure out, if you're not going to play it, how you're going to beat it. That's how they go. Is when a deck gets this strong, you got to have a way to beat it. And honestly, it's very well-rounded, like I said, because of the discard, because of the cheating things out, because of the restore effects, because of the removal. It is just a very well-rounded deck, and that's why it's going to be one of the best decks. So it's not going to be easy to beat unless you run it over. Like, if your game plan is run over Han and just hopefully I run into a bunch of Hans and play Kylo or something like that just can run things over, that don't have the best answers for it right away. Because, like, if you look at it, they have to play units to activate Force Throw to be able to take out one of your units, right? But in Kylo, you're going wide. So taking out one of your units is not going to slow you down that much. And then you're flipping on your 3rd turn with Kylo. Sometimes you're getting in with, like, Hotshot Blaster or lightsabers, whether it's Constructed Lightsaber or Fallen Lightsaber. I'm having trying to remember the other one that's really good. Battle Fury. So, like, Kylo is just trying to win by the 5 resource turn. So by that point, you're finally flipping Han, but Kylo's already won. So, like, that's why it's a tough matchup for Han. And, Kylo's pushing 28 damage, 30 damage by 5 resources very often. So, you got to find your turret. You gotta find something to slow them down to have a chance, because they're just going to be so fast. And the thing about Battle Fury that's so good in Kylo is that it just pumps up their space units. They can arena dodge you if you don't have the Concord or the Battle Fury. They can go up space, swing in for 6 damage, and they don't care if they discard a card from their hand because it just makes Kylo stronger and has synergy, especially if they discard a Kylo's spaceship. So, but yeah, this is a first look, and not a lot of surprises here. I mean, Krennic, like I said, a lot of these villainy decks just with Vader. Vader alone is just one of the strongest cards in the game, if not the strongest card in the game, besides arguably Force Throw now. Both those cards are just crazy good. All right, so this next tournament was 21 players, so just a small tournament. You know, it's first weekend of Legends of the Force. 2 Hans at the top, and then the Maul Blue, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Han that got first place as well. But I did like to see the Maul Blue getting some results. Han 2 green Force as well. Kylo Data Vault. We have to check that list out also. Check out the Kira Data Vault as well. I think this was a 21-person tournament. So here was another Han list. Very similar to the first one we looked at. They are playing Force Lightning, which is different. That is definitely different, but I like it. Force Lightning gets a lot better. This set, finally. 3 Anakin. Cool. 3 Grogu. Okay, 3 Warrior. I like the 3 Warrior in here for those super aggro matchups. 3 Ki-Adi-Mundi. 2 Ezra. 2 Marin is interesting. 2 Ogdu Bogdu. 2 Owen. Okay, cool. 2 Yaddle. 1 Bendu. 1 Mace. And then he has 3 Crate Dragons in the main, which is, that's cool. He's just saying, I'm going to beat you with Crate Dragon. A couple Poe, 1 Cassian only, and 3 Lukes. So a little different than the first list. Not as much of a focus on the hand disruption. No Jedi in hiding. No pillage. But as you can see, still a good result for this player. A couple bombing runs seems to be a consistent thing for Han 2 Blue to deal with Vader, I would imagine. Or Kylo. And decks like that. Graceful Purgil, if that's how you say that correctly, is also for Vader to slow them down, take a few hits. But yeah, another good looking list. I do think Redemption is a good 1 to 2 of. I like it as a 2 of. I don't like to have any bad matchups when I build lists. I like to be able to have a chance against everything. So Redemption to me is just so important for those matchups where I'm going to be like fighting against just constant pressure. It's a way like to, when I eventually stabilize, to get my life total back to a reasonable place where I can turn the corner with my power. So I feel like it's almost like a 1 of in the main for me, a 1 of in the side, just because super aggro is one of the weaknesses of this deck, right? I would say Tarkin Town is your other, somewhat of a weakness, but you can play around Tarkin Town and Han 2. I think after a lot of experience playing this deck, it's absolutely a base you can play around. All right, here is another one from this tournament. So this one got 3rd place out of 20. I mean, it's 21 players, not like a huge tournament, but I did like to see this deck because there's been a lot of like, just like this leader isn't good or he's too slow and I'd rather play Talzin. But I have disagreed with that since the beginning, and it's nice to see it already have a result in make the top 4 in a 20-person tournament. I mean, again, it's a small sample size, smaller tournament. But Maul is one of those decks that has a lot of potential. Maul's ability is very, very strong. And if you can find the right list, and, this list was unique. He had a 2 Palpatine, 3 Crate Dragon, 3 Devastator, and 2 Avenger in the main board, which I thought was interesting. So he's focused more on just like slowing his opponent down, using his cheap units to activate Force Lightning and Force Throw early, using power. The No Bargain was interesting. He's playing 2 Pillage also. And then he's also playing Jedi in hiding. So he's going hand disruption, early removal, a little bit of pressure. And then he's going bam, like with those ground and space units. Like that is a cool way to play this. I'm definitely going to try this list out. I really liked this list. A lot of similarities to mine. Very similar list, but I like that he's going just like removal, and then just power. Just blow you away. Now, I thought that was a cool way to do it. So definitely a list I'm going to revisit and check out. The No Bargain is interesting. I think that's a really cool Twin Suns card. I haven't seen it being played in Standard, but No Bargain just gives you another way to disrupt your opponent's hand, and it's like an anti-force throw card because you can draw a card and disrupt their hand. So I like that idea. It's cool to see that card being played. But yeah, this was a cool list as well. The one thing that, yeah, he has 2 top target in the side. I was gonna say the one thing that feels weak is just like a lot of pressure and not getting the force units to stick on the board, or your forced lightnings and force throws to be relevant. I could see that being a problem because he is a little top heavy. But I like the thought process though. It's a sweet build. All right, here's the Kylo Data Vault list. 3 Pershing probably has a hard counter for force throw. A couple Maul in here I like, especially if you don't find Vader Timely in your hand, or even Timely Anakin in your hand. They got the heirlooms to activate Anakin, which is sweet. 3 Craving Power, couple Barrage. I like that split in Kylo decks. 2 Kylo Ren's lightsaber, couple Supremacy, Space. General Grievous is interesting. I guess because of all the lightsabers, it makes sense in here to pull off. I mean, I think that would be hard to pull off, but what do I know? I haven't tested that yet. So 3 Rey as a way to put shields on your villainy units and to put shields on Kylo when it's out there as a sentinel. And then just a lot of removal. 3 Legal Authority, of course. 2 Jedi Lightsaber as well to activate Anakin. But yeah, cool looking list. Finished in the top 8. I play ECL. I don't know. I didn't like Data Vault as much with Kylo. I tried it a lot because it made sense in theory. But ECL just felt better to me because Vader's so powerful. And Anakin's better in that version as well because you're able to discard your hero lightsabers earlier. I like that he's playing the 2-2-2 split there to go alongside the Craving Power Legal Authority combo, which is disgusting. You know, it's early on. I would imagine we keep seeing this list get better and better. Kira Data Vault. So we got the 3 Vader, both Vaders, 3 8th Brother, which is different. Haven't seen that card being played that much yet. And then otherwise, it looks like a pretty standard Kira list. Just 2 Timely and a couple Maul. Okay. No Craving Powers. I do like Craving Power in Kira too. I have added a couple into my Kira lists. I like it. It's really sweet with the great units, like the Hyloban and Kira, and Devastating. He has 3 of the Terran Tatic in the main board, which is cool. But yeah, no surprise to see Kira at the top. And in this last tournament here, 44 players, another Hantu Blue win. We saw some Garsax in yellow, finished second. Palp Blue with some new additions, probably the Vader, probably the Night Sister, things like that. The biggest one that I wanted to look at was the Mother Talzin green, just to kind of see where that deck is falling, like as far as the build, as that is one that I have messed around with a little bit, but I'm curious to see what that player came up with, as I do think that that could be a really good deck. Plus, that's the only Talzin we've seen so far. And then we had Cad, a Vader yellow, a Sabine, and an Anakin blue, which I think is going to be another strong hero blue deck. Okay, so taking a look at this Talzin green list, I thought this list was really sweet. So they're playing 3 Karis, 3 Kylo, 3 Secretive Sage, a couple Pershing, so just 9 turn 1 force plays. And then a couple Maz Kanata, so a little more proactive towards your opponent's base. 3 Laser Tech to ramp, 3 Power, of course, 3 Timely for the Vader, 3 Chirrut, couple Tyrannus, couple Talzins, couple Fel, couple Rivals Fall. I liked the Dagoian Master as a way to search the top 5 cards of your deck for a force unit to keep the deck more consistent, as well as just playing a 5/5, which is pretty sweet. 3 Barrage, no Craving Power, which I would probably play, just because in the red version I really like Fallen Lightsaber for Talzin as a way to keep it alive, and it just synergizes well with the ability. Craving Power is just a way to beef it up, make it a 5/9, and take something off the board. 3 Vaders, a couple 8th Brother, which has Force Synergy in here. And then they're playing 3 Maul instead of Vader at that spot, which makes sense to me, especially because they're more proactive. A couple Reinforcement Walker for that late life gain, 1 Avenger, 1 Devastator in the main, and then they had the Purgil in the side for space heavy decks like Vader Yellow. A couple Palps Return, second copy of Avenger, 1 Relentless, couple Confiscate, and 2 No Glory. So pretty sweet looking list. I do think we're going to see a lot of Talzin as the meta develops. We're going to see red, which I'm surprised we didn't. We're going to see yellow, I'm sure. And I think you might see more green. So this was cool just to see how this player came up with the green version. Cool. But yeah, that's just like a first look at the tournaments from this weekend. A couple tournaments, not a lot to go by so far. But I would imagine we continue to see a ton of Hantu blue. I would imagine we see more Hantu green. It was cool to see Maul being played already. Didn't see any Talzin, which is interesting. Would have expected to see more of that. But what do you guys think? What do you think is going to be the deck that is the biggest surprise, especially at the Galactic Championships? What do you think is the deck that's going to surprise people? Kind of how Vader Jump to Lightspeed did at one of the big tournaments like a couple months ago, where it was like several Vaders were being played and it was like the coming out party for Vader. What kind of deck do you think is going to be the biggest surprise for the championships that you maybe a lot of people aren't expecting? I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. But as always, y'all have a good one and peace out.